Welcome to the third installment in my new Sacred Story Writers author interview series. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to a woman who is not only an amazing author, but she's also a terrific agent. And I should know because I'm blessed to have her represent me and my work. Cynthia Ruchti tells stories hemmed in hope through her novels, novellas, devotions, and nonfiction, and through speaking for women's events, retreats, and writers' conferences and workshops. She draws from 33 years of experience writing and producing the 15-minute daily radio broadcast, The Heartbeat of the Home. Her books have received recognition from RT Reviewer's Choice Book of the Year, PW Starred Reviews, Selah Awards, Christian Retailing's Best Awards, Golden Scroll Awards, and Novel of the Year, Reader's Choice Awards, the Carol Award, 2 Christie finalists, and more. She serves as professional relations liaison for American Christian fiction writers and is part of the worship team in her church. She's also a senior literary agent with Books and Such Literary Management. She and her husband live in the heart of Wisconsin, not far from their 3 children and 6 grandchildren. Cynthia, good morning.
Good morning. I need to update that. There's a 7th on the way, 7th grandchild on the way.
How exciting. Congratulations.
I almost always do my bio or intro with 6 to date in parentheses grandchildren. And yes, we have a 7th one on the way in November. We're so excited.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, tell us a little bit about what you write, how you became a writer, and how long you've been an agent.
I'll try to keep it short because it's a very long story, but I actually did not think that I would ever be a writer. I enjoyed writing and had an interest in that, but I really thought that I would need to do something else for a career, which isn't a bad idea anyway, for as authors know. But I worked in the chemistry lab for a while. And when I retired from that, after just to stay home with my toddler kids, I wanted something that was going to be brain stimulating as well. So I took some correspondence courses in creative writing, in particular for the inspirational market. And when I finished that course, the last assignment of the course was to write a scripted radio broadcast episode. And I had no interest whatsoever in that at all and postponed doing that project. But eventually then finished that assignment, still had no interest in it, but at least I got my little diploma and my certificate. But within a couple of weeks of that moment, my path crossed with a woman who had just been given 15 minutes of airtime on a radio station out in North Carolina and was interested in having a program that met the spiritual needs of stay-at-home moms. And I still had no interest in being involved, except with maybe on the level of finding a poem or a scripture verse or something that would go along with her daily theme. But instead, she handed me the assignment and it was mine for the next 33 years.
Oh my goodness.
So that broadcast was on the air until 2012 when it retired, which as all things must do eventually. But the radio broadcast was 15 scripted minutes. So I was writing slice of life scenes from everyday life, fiction for the first half, musical interlude, and then nonfiction devotional thoughts for the second half of the broadcast. That's what explains a little bit more about why I write both fiction and nonfiction, and why devotionals are something that I have a real heart for, because I was doing that kind of thing for all those years. But I still had to study. Once I started pursuing writing fiction and getting published, I had to still study like anybody else does. How do you go from that to something that appears in print? Some think that it would be just a natural shift, but it isn't. There was a lot I still had to learn. And there's always more to learn about the publishing process and that world, as we all know. But so that's what kind of got me into that end of it. And I worked hard for many years with no yeses to my submissions. And then in 2008, there was a publishing house that got excited about a book project, and that was the beginning. So my first book released in 2010, and now in 2023, just 13 years later, I'm working on book 43, I think it is.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
once God says yes, he means it, and there you go. But and not everybody's path is going to be the same. It just that I was given some unusual opportunities, and I knew better than to say no if God was opening the door. I don't like what I get out of it if I say no. So
I
to
think we've all
him,
been there.
yeah. So anyway, that's how I got into writing. And then in agenting, I was agented by Books and Such. And after just about 10 years, about 9 years of being agented with Books and Such, the president of Books and Such called me one day and said, "Would you be interested in agenting?" And I said, "No, I've never thought of that. I'm not, no. Oh no, I'm going to have to pray about it," which was how everything in my life has ever come my way. And it turns out that I just love agenting every part of it. So
Oh,
is that enough of an explanation?
yes, that's a great explanation. That's it's so exciting when you say yes, and scary and overwhelming, but
Mhm.
always so rewarding, and not just for you, but for all the people that God puts in your path and allows you to bless through your writing, through your agenting. So it's very exciting. So I want to talk to you today about your current book that's coming out soon called Love's a Mystery in Embarrass, Wisconsin. And I have the
Mhm.
book
Ah.
here. I've started reading it and I'm loving it. It's so fun. Can you tell us a little bit about that book and how it came out? About, I know you're co-writing it with Becky
Mhm.
Melby. How did all
Yep.
that happen?
So Becky Melby is a dear friend of mine. We met first in the writing world, and then we became dear friends. And we've been the kind of friends that can text each other and say, "Pray for me. The household's fallen apart," or "Pray for me. I have a son who's going into surgery," or the real tight knit, far more than, even though we're distanced by 4 hours or so, that tight knit, knowing we can depend on each other all the time. And we had done some projects before together. Back in 2010, we did a Door County Christmas novella collection that had 4 authors, and Becky and I were 2 of them. And then we did one in that was called Cedar Creek Seasons, and that was Becky and I and those same 2 other authors. So we had done collaboration before. We also did a nonfiction book together called Spouse in the House, which
Mhm.
was about how to rearrange our attitudes to make room for one another. And that was a fun one that had some comedy in it as well. We have to keep our sense of humor in those times. And I have appreciated her writing a lot. And had done a lot of projects for Guidepost, who is the publisher of this particular book, Love's a Mystery. She's written many of those novels in the past, and she had the opportunity, and they were wanting an historical and a contemporary story that were linked together somehow by some mystery, all in one volume. And ours is the 13th volume of that. So they're all kinds of places. They were looking for Love's a Mystery in, and fill in the blank with a mysterious, disturbing, crazy, quirky name of a
Yes.
town.
I
One,
was really surprised by the list of books and those crazy town names. Cut and Shoot, Texas,
yeah,
Nameless, Tennessee, Gnawbone, Indiana. There's some fun ones.
there are some real fun ones. And anybody who lives in Minnesota likes to point out there's an Embarrass, Minnesota too. I said, do not worry, it's in the book. So we and there is an actual town of Embarrass, Wisconsin. So Becky wanted to know if she wrote the historical, version, would I be interested in writing the contemporary version? And of course, I had to audition and make sure that that was going to work with the Guidepost editorial team. But so we had just all kinds of joy doing the research and visiting the town of Embarrass and looking around for something interesting about Embarrass, Wisconsin that we could report about, and had so much fun interviewing the woman, the postmistress, who had collected all kinds of historical information over the years. So she was a great resource. That was a
Wow,
lot of fun. But the writing together, we enjoy an awful lot as well.
that's great. I can't wait to finish because so far I'm really, really enjoying it.
Good, good.
So can you tell me what you're working on next?
I just got a contract for a book that will be an Advent devotional. It won't release until 2025. That's how far out we are working. But it's
Yes.
one that I'm very excited about doing. It's different in a lot of ways, but the difference of it is what I'm unable to talk about in detail. So just there it
Stay
so
tuned.
here we go again. Stay tuned. So it's that fiction and the nonfiction that seems like it's always kind of in balance in my life. Sometimes people ask, which do you like writing more, fiction or nonfiction? And I say the opposite of what I'm working on at the moment. You know what that feels like when
Right.
you're on deadline. Yeah. So, but I do enjoy both. And I enjoy having fiction that has some meat in it that isn't just entertaining, but also isn't teachy, but has that, or preachy, but has instead, there's a takeaway that is of value at the end of the book. And tried to do that even with this cozy mystery that we just wrote. But I also enjoy fiction that then will nonfiction that will have a narrative style that makes it easy to read and enjoyable to read. And that's so I think they overlap a little bit that way.
I couldn't agree more. So let's get into the very fun part of the interview, the
Okay.
lightning round.
All
Although I
right.
have to warn you, the other two authors I've interviewed, not so much lightning. So
Okay. I'm going to try really, really hard.
it's okay. We'll get through these. All
Okay.
right. Favorite genre to read?
Women's fiction.
Favorite TV show?
The Voice, or
Okay.
anything on British YouTube things, anything British on YouTube.
I like that. Favorite way to spend a quiet evening?
This is the longer one. I don't know what the words quiet evening mean because my husband likes sports of all kinds. But if I had a quiet evening to myself and I snuck off to the sunroom, it would be archaeology videos.
Ooh, okay. Are you a plotter or a pantser?
Definitely a pantser who has learned to do a little plotting.
I like it. If you could spend a day as a character in a book, who would it be?
Bougie Unfortunate in As Water's Gone By. It was one of my novels, and she's the character that I would love to be in her skin for a day.
I love it. Say that name again.
Bougie Unfortunate. Bougie in French means candle or spark plug.
Oh,
And her original name had been Fortunato, but some uncle got a bee in his bonnet that he was unhappy with that and had a bad season and had the family name changed to Unfortunate.
oh my goodness. That's so fun. I love it. All right. Favorite toy as a child?
Dolls that my sister and I got by saving coupons on the back of the Rice Krispie cereal boxes.
Nice. All right. Favorite thing about fall?
Uh, thick socks and Cortland apples, because you can't get
Ooh,
a Cortland apple any other season. They only grow in the fall. They only are good in the fall, and I just love Cortland apples.
I don't know that I've ever had one. That's
Oh, put it on your wish list. It'll be
I
good.
will. Coffee or tea?
Both. I'm an ambi sipper.
All right. I like it. Favorite cookie?
Gluten-free Oreos. Now that they came out with gluten-free Oreos,
Yes. Do you prefer an e-reader or a physical book?
physical book, unless I'm flying.
Yes, it's nice being able to have both, isn't it?
Mhm.
Last book that you read.
This one has to have a little explanation. I read Lessons in Chemistry, which is from the general market. I made an intentional effort to read more in the general market so that I'm more aware of what's out there. But also I felt like I was getting an education in how and why people think the way they do, so I can better minister to them as well.
Oh, very, very cool. Cooking at home or eating out?
Eating out, hands down, apron off, eating out.
You are my kind of woman. First concert you've ever been to?
Sixth grade band, and my dad was the director. So
Oh,
we lived in small towns all of our lives, but sixth grade band concert was my first concert, and my dad was the director.
oh, that's sweet. Your favorite restaurant?
Um, there's a tiny little Vietnamese restaurant in a parking lot by a hotel in San Jose, California. That's my favorite so far ever.
That I love hole in the wall tiny
It's
restaurants.
a hole, definitely a hole in the wall. I think there were 6 tables in the restaurant, but it was my favorite.
They always have the best. All right,
Mhm.
last question. A book you're excited to read?
Dysfunction Junction by Robin W. Pearson.
What
I've
a
seen
fun
it in
name.
various stages of production, but I can't wait to read the full book.
Oh, sounds like a good one. We'll have to keep that in mind for our own to be read piles.
Mhm.
All right. So, Cynthia, where can our viewers and readers find out more about you? Do you have a website, I'm assuming?
I do CynthiaRuchti.com. Ruchti is a hard name. It's RUCHTI.com. But they can find me at the same place by looking up hemmedinhope.com, which is a lot easier to spell. Hemmed in Hope comes from my tagline, which is I can't unravel, I'm hemmed in hope. And I hope that everything that I write now and forever will somehow fall under that umbrella, whether it's fiction or nonfiction.
I love that. Such a sweet and memorable tagline and encouragement for all of us.
Thank you.
Well, I want to show you, uh, obviously, you know what your book cover looks like. And I have been trying to create jewelry inspired by
Yeah.
book covers. And this one was fun. I really wanted to create a moose, but that didn't quite go. So instead, my second favorite thing on your book cover is just that beautiful winter sunset or sunrise,
Yes.
that beautiful sky. And so I created a pair of earrings and I'm going to hold it up real quick and make sure. See these. So it has,
Oh,
it's hard with
oh,
it's so shiny, but it has like your sunrise colors or sunset colors.
oh, that's gorgeous. That's
So
beautiful.
these will be going to one lucky winner. And so I will put all the information out when I share this and how they can enter. But
Okay.
we're going to give away a set of earrings or a pendant. The pendant looks the same as the earrings, so they can
Okay.
choose. And you're giving away a book as well.
Yeah.
So that's going to be super fun for one of our readers.
I'm excited about it.
Cynthia, thank you so much for joining us this morning, for sharing a little bit about your life, your journey, your writing. It's been really fun talking with you.
It's been fun talking to you too, Heather, as always.
As always, thank you.